How do we want to introduce this one? Because it's been a while since we've done one of these.
I guess just with an explanation as to why it took so long to do another one.
I mean, if you're happy to talk about what's been happening, we'll give the low
Oh, I just say I
rundown.
moved house.
Yeah, welcome to Sidetracked episode 6. Kai didn't have internet for a
Hello.
while.
For a month and a bit, it was really frustrating, believe me.
Yeah.
I was moving apartments to a better place. I did meet one of my neighbors today, and she is one of those people that just has to be in everyone's business, and
Oh no.
yeah, but like whatever, I don't care. She can
Yes.
shut.
So he's been in his new place for a while, but there were some internet issues, so we couldn't really record much, which is a
Yeah,
bummer.
it was annoying because I wanted to because we had a good schedule keeping up fortnightly type thing.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
we would have kept it up had I had internet, but
Hmm.
I didn't, so I couldn't, basically.
Yeah, and we're recording a little bit earlier than our last episode, which was around 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday evening on Anzac Day. So we'd been out hitting the pub, had a bit of
That is
alcohol.
true. I've heard about that.
Yeah, that's how long ago it was.
What did we talk about? We talked about Cartoon Network, didn't we?
We did. I was really pleased with the episode. I was quite like it's tricky because
Oh,
when I edit it, I listen to it so many times. It's kind of like I can't really then listen to it in one full go as if I was a listener. But I quite liked, especially the first sort of part with KND and Ed and Eddie. Pretty good.
yeah.
We
Speaking of Cartoon Network, have you heard about the reboot script for the live action Powerpuff Girls that got leaked?
No, I have not.
I just want to talk about the fact that everybody who wrote that should be in jail. They're adults, but Bubbles, I think, is an ex porn star
Oh no.
who had previously pawned an engagement ring from one of her ex fiancées for
Mm-hmm.
drug money. And it's just constantly talking about sex and stuff, and it's like it sounds just like
Yeah.
really creepy fan fiction that some like dude grew up
Mm.
having a crush on the Powerpuff Girls. He's like, "This is so
Yeah.
hot." Like, it's really weird. I hated it, man.
Like
Everybody else hated it too.
they're infatuated with the girls when they're younger, and then they have to justify still liking them once they
Yeah, so, like,
hit
they're just
adulthood.
adults now, so I can get away with it. But the thing is
Jesus.
that they're kind of known for being, little kid characters, like,
Mm.
that's kind of like I don't know if you could say the comedy of it. I guess it is kind of comedy, but also, like, I don't know, just different.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what they're known for, so just making them older so you can get away with that shit seems to me just still pretty,
Mm.
iffy.
They should have gone the Watchmen route and changed the characters so that it's completely new characters, not based off any. You know about that, don't you?
Yeah,
Where Watchmen
yeah, like,
like had
well, they couldn't use Superman and stuff like that. They were like, "Okay, we'll just make
yeah.
weird versions of them."
Hmm. I just realised that's kind
Yeah.
of an odd segue into one of the topics you wanted to talk about, or semi segue, I guess,
Oh,
which was
another Zack Snyder fucking movie,
yeah, because of course Watchmen was
Army of the
directed
Dead.
by Snyder, and he's directed what's it called again? Sorry, I think you just said it.
Army of the Dead,
Yeah.
his newest movie. It sucks, man. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if we get, like, inundated with mass amounts of fucking Snyder fans hate. I love Batman, and I loved Batman v Superman. I really liked the Snyder cut.
Yeah.
Army of the Dead, as I watched it, it made me think, is this what regular people thought about Batman v Superman? Like, am I like, do I actually like Batman v Superman, or do I just like
Yeah.
Batman and Superman? Like, you know what I mean? It
You
was
like
that bad,
the
bro.
you like the idea
The
of
IP, yeah,
um
the IP, the characters, like
I mean possibly I mean I guess what kind of if you had to sum it up, I guess, what were sort of the main issues with the film
dragged on, which is
pacing?
something that everybody's complained about for those other two movies as well.
Yeah.
Um, full of plot holes, laughably bad plot holes. Yeah, it was really bad, man.
Hmm.
Like, and it just sets up a bunch of shit and doesn't explain it because he's like, I'm just going to explain it in my animated series and my other movies, and it's like, is anybody really going to watch those though? Well, they will because he has like a fucking cult that follows him,
Oh yeah, that's
which
true.
I've always hated. I've always hated those people.
Hashtag
Um,
arrest the Snyder cult.
I mean, I was hesitant to admit that the Snyder Cut existed, but I wasn't one of those people that was like hating
Mm,
like if it did existed. I wanted to see it. Like I always wanted it to be true, but I was never one of
yeah.
those hardcore Snyder guys that was like, it's definitely out there. It's definitely done.
I'll be honest with you. I laughed at that idea initially. I thought, oh, that's silly. That would never happen. So I'm happy to say that I ate my own words. And I also thought, oh, it's going to be an absolute train wreck if, apparently it was unwatchable. But then I saw it with
Yeah.
you and Davin, who, of course, has guest starred in one of our episodes. And I
And it
was
was
happy to say that it was pretty decent for what it was. Kind of like a nice little
kept in
demo
line,
reel in a
a
way.
little ending for that
Hmm.
little trilogy for Superman in a way, sort of, at least.
Yeah.
But man, like it shows that he definitely there's a reason WB was like, I don't know about this. Like
Mm. Who was,
after seeing
what was the
his other
company
stuff.
behind this one? Do you know by chance? Was it
Just Netflix, I believe. Just
Netflix?
Netflix. So they're not
Hmm.
exactly known for having any good original stuff, except for maybe Daredevil.
They
Um,
do a few things here and there. Nothing, I guess Stranger Things. I don't know in terms of
I never
films.
liked Stranger Things, man. I always thought it was
Hmm.
pretty boring, to be honest. But
I didn't, I refused to get on the craze of things. So there were just memes going around where it was, have you seen Stranger Things? And I just agreed with that sentiment where I thought, I'm not going to jump on this. It's just obnoxious people talking about it.
I
But
mean,
apparently
people
it's
like
got critical acclaim.
I don't know. I watched the first season. I was like, this is okay.
Hmm.
Watched the second season. I was like, this is the same thing again.
Yeah,
So then I just stopped watching it halfway through the second season. I was like, I don't care.
yeah, fair. But I definitely agree with you on Daredevil. All three seasons were pretty solid. It's,
Even then, I got a bit sick of it, to be honest. But
oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's probably the best they've done.
I do think season two was the weakest. I think this is probably the popular opinion, but it definitely does feel like two seasons within it. So like, there's clearly the Punisher stuff at the beginning, and it just completely
That
changes
was
gear with the hand. Yeah, I don't know why that was. Maybe it was two lit team leads or something thinking, oh, I really want to have Punisher, and the other one saying, oh, but we really should have the hand because that's sort of his main foe or one of his main foes. So I don't know what happened there, but it was a bit wonky as a result.
speaking of Daredevil and the Hand,
Mhm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles reboot. You know, that's kind of a good segue because you know
Yeah, boy.
they do parody the Daredevil a lot with like their origin being
Hmm.
the same accident and the Foot Clan instead.
Do you reckon there was a lot of people when Daredevil came out that thought, oh hey, the hand that's like the foot from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? I'm sure there were.
Yeah, I feel like the Turtles
Hmm.
are more popular than Daredevil.
Yeah, it's like that JFK in Black Ops. Everyone goes, oh, he sounds like Mayor Quimby type thing.
Mhm.
Gee, I wonder why. But sorry, you want to talk about
Well,
so
I just wanted to mention that I guess maybe a lot of other people knew about it, but
yeah.
Seth Rogen is helming a TMNT reboot. I didn't even know that
Hmm.
till the other day, which is really cool. It's animated,
Right.
and he's really leaning into the teenage thing. Like you can look up on his Twitter. It's like a notebook page, and it's
Hmm.
been like drawn on and like written on by Leonardo
Oh, okay.
in character. So that was kind of cool.
Interesting. And so is he kind of like, so he's the creative mind behind it. So I guess he's got a hand in the script
Yeah, man.
production. Okay.
I mean, I actually am surprised at his proficiency when it comes to this
Hmm.
sort of stuff because he does Invincible, and people love that. So
Right. Well, it's good. He's sort of. I'm always happy to see people like kind of jump and try new things. You know what I mean? He kind of is synonymous with those weed bro
comedies.
type films with Franco.
Yeah, stone comedies and stuff.
Yeah.
He actually funny. He actually said he won't work with James Franco anymore unless
Oh.
all his allegations, I guess, are proven wrong. Well, speaking of scummy celebrities, um, Mark Wahlberg is in the
Oh.
movie that we're talking about today.
That's right. That's right. I feel bad because I was thinking when I picked this one, and we were happy to chat about it. I thought, oh, it would have been really funny if we just got two randos to fill in for us as the other guys.
Oh yeah.
That would be
I
so
mean, I
meta.
guess we could have just put like weird filters on our voices. Nobody would have known. But yes, so the movie we're talking about, I guess, is the other guys, which I
That's
think
right.
we saw in the cinemas together, maybe, or I saw it with my mum. One of the two.
I can't remember seeing it in the theater. I think I watched it with my dad. We watched the Indonesian cut.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Yeah.
Some guy's camcorder in the fucking cinema
Mm.
edition.
Yeah, there were a few extra characters. It was an odd direction choice. They were silhouetted and walked around every now and then. I
From
wasn't
the
sure.
perspective of somebody sitting in a cinema watching it. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. But I'll
Probably
hand.
one of my favorite comedies.
Oh, what did you say? Sorry, I just talked over you completely.
I was saying probably one of my favorite comedies. The other
Oh, yeah.
guys.
I was just about to say, hands down, my favorite. Or one, yeah, definitely one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. It
And
started the pairing of Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell that literally has just
mhm,
never been even close to as good as it was in that movie.
yeah,
Ever since. Like, it's not a good pairing. It just happened to work for that movie.
I think you got to look at it as a trio with Adam McKay, the director, because the other sort of films they've paired up with were Daddy's Home 1 and 2, I think. There might be something
Yeah.
else, but definitely those two films. And I don't believe Adam McKay was involved. So,
No.
clearly you have to have a director who knows the chemistry between the actors and what works, what doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, those movies aren't horrible, but they're not even close to
Mm.
being on par with, you
Yeah,
know, with the
it's
other ones.
it's kind of like the Cornetto trilogy. So Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, um, versus Paul. Where you
Yeah.
have the two
I
actors
love
together, they're
Paul.
funny, and there's this other one they do without the director, and it's still a decent film, but not quite up to par.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really like Paul that much,
Mm. But
personally.
yeah, and what's odd about this film, I think, is this isn't really a movie I would think that I would like, if that makes sense, because it's pretty standard in the cinematography department in terms of for a comedy, and it is kind of silly Will Ferrell, and for the most part, with a few exceptions, I've never really vibed with Will Ferrell films. But this is just like every line almost I think I've memorized from this
Hilarious.
movie.
It's very quotable.
Mm.
It's very quotable, and it's just I don't even think that those two are the funniest characters in the movie. I
Yeah.
honestly believe, like, it's the situations that they get put
Mhm.
in and the other people interacting with them. And, the original, like, two, like, badass dudes who would typically be in the buddy cop movie,
Mm.
The Rock and, Samuel L. Jackson. Like, the opening where they're
Mm.
in the car and he, like what does he do? He, like, drives his car into the side of the bus, so they commandeer the bus, and
Oh
then
yeah.
he fucking jackknifes the bus while Samuel Jackson's sitting in the car, and he
Yeah.
flies out towards the bad guys. "You have the right to remain silent," and he's dual
Mm.
wielding pistols, and he's like, "But I'm gonna hear you scream," and he fucking drives to the hotel and blows
Uh,
them up, and then it just cuts to their victory, and he's like, "You just cost like $16 million
yeah.
in property damage to the city
Mm.
that taxpayers are gonna have to pay for. What do you have to say to that?" He's like, "Why doesn't New York City decide this? The greatest city on earth!" And everybody starts
Mm.
fucking cheering. That
Nah, it's
whole
so good.
opening scene is so good. I can quote almost like at the whole thing off the top of my head.
Yeah, and it's a
It's
great
that
way to
good.
introduce our main kind of characters because a lot of the plot is really dull in terms of it's not a when you think buddy cop movies, obviously Lethal Weapon, it's quite intense, kidnappings,
Actually,
diplomats, action, but they start investigating a scaffolding permit, and the main crime is white collar crime, and that's
yeah,
just like computers and banking stuff, which doesn't
yeah,
make for the most action oriented. So it's kind of a nice transition from you get this intense action piece to just these dull guys who happen to work in the department as well. I thought it was quite
yeah,
funny.
and it's narrated by
Mm.
Samuel L. Jackson's character, even though he's
Oh no, it's Ice T. He's a Law and
oh, is
Order
it?
actor, yeah, or he's a rapper, but he's also been in Law
Oh,
and Order. I assume that's why they
yeah.
cast him, although he was
Well,
uncredited.
yeah, he sounds very similar to Samuel L. Jackson, I must
Okay.
say.
Hmm.
Damn.
We'll leave that there, I think.
Cancelled. Yeah, it is. It's just peak comedy. There's nothing. There's not a single scene in that movie where I feel like it's dragging on or boring
Oh no, not
at
at
all.
all.
It's very interesting because
Mhm.
I can't remember their character's name, but Mark Wahlberg's character,
Oh, I do.
um,
He's Terry Hoyt, and I think Will Ferrell's Alan Gimble.
no, he's Gator.
He's Gator.
Gator,
I'm telling you,
Gator,
man, you were a pimp. What? No, are you listening to the
that's a
story?
sure.
Oh my god. Again, this isn't what we mean by just it's seared in the brain.
I probably watch that at least once a year. It's one of those movies that I can just watch over and over and
Oh
over
yeah,
again.
it's if I'm with the family or on my own, and it's like let's watch something everyone's gonna enjoy. We just put that on because it gets a laugh from everybody pretty much.
There's no, I wouldn't even say that there's that many plot holes. Like it's such a simple like sort of plot that they just really do it quite well too. But then
Yeah,
again, I haven't watched it for a while, so I could be wrong about that.
to my knowledge, there's not
It's
really. It's just sort of coincidence. One thing they're investigating leads to them realizing that the company wants to make up their losses and is stealing money from police pensions, pretty much.
yeah,
I did a bit of background reading, and the director apparently was interested in kind of making a sort of more contemporary type of film in terms of, it is kind of a few years after the big recession, which was kind of everyone
yeah,
had this sentiment against, the bankers or corrupt politicians and sort of finance issues. And it's kind of weaved in quite nicely. Although it was funny, I did see an interview where he thought it didn't quite work, and that's why you get those infographics at the end. If you remember the credits, where it's just like, here's what a pyramid scheme is. Here's the amount of money. Like, I don't like. I thought it still worked quite well in the film, but I guess he wanted it to be a bit more weaved through, whereas it's sort of very much the background, and you just, like you said, you're kind of enjoying the situational comedy. They just come across these, groups of gangs or explosions, whatever.
They're Colombian drug lords. What about this? Why do you keep talking about drugs? Like, where are the drugs coming from?
This isn't Miami Vice.
Doesn't it turn out though that there are like drugs involved in some way, and he was right, or is that just my imagination?
I think that's just sort of one of the random running gags where he kind of thinks he's in a bigger action set piece than he is.
Yeah. He's also highly homophobic, but like probably closeted gay or something like that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the better running gags in the film. Where
we'll introduce like that the fairies.
Yeah, and it comes back at the wedding scene at the end where he talks about he could play the harp, was it? He used to do it to make fun of someone else.
Yeah, he learned all his skills that are not considered manly. He's only learnt like with the initiative of making fun of somebody who's not considered to be manly. So funny.
I found out the director's favorite scene, one of his favorite scenes, is the coffee mug sequence when they're driving across the bridge.
Female body inspector.
Get out of town. That is outrageous.
Yeah. And he just throws it out the window, and his face immediately changes. He's like, "Okay, I'm never going to get you anything nice ever again." He's like, "Good, don't." He's like, "Yeah, I won't." Yeah, that's such a good. It is a good scene.
I mean, and it kind of perfectly captures their dynamic throughout the film, where Will Ferrell's kind of going on this elaborate discussion about a random point, and Mark Wahlberg's just completely pissed. He'll pull a face or just undercut it somehow, like the whole line and tuna improv bit, and all he does after that's gone through is he just pours coffee on him. Like, fuck you, I don't care.
Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah, we would build breathing apparatuses. You and your lion family down.
Yeah,
it's such. Oh man, it's untouchable. The only part that like really takes me out of that movie a lot is the part at the end when the peacock like just comes up to the camera and it's flying.
It is a bit goofy. I know it's a throwback to like a.
He says, "I'm a peacock. You got to let me fly." But like the joke there really is just that he's an idiot and he doesn't even. He's so stupid. He doesn't even know that peacocks can't fucking fly. I didn't think it was necessary to have that fly in at the end.
It was good enough to end on the kind of motif of why Will Ferrell's character's loved by all the ladies.
He was like,
which is because of his glasses.
He went out with And he lost his virginity to Heather Locklear or something like that, or
Yeah.
whatever that he says.
I can't remember that. It's not an actress or star or whatever she does that I'm familiar with, so I forgot her name. Yeah,
His
like that
wife.
was fine. That was fine. Oh no, just like the Heather. What's her face
Oh, she
that
is
you
a very
mentioned?
attractive actress. She is.
Oh, okay.
She was married, I believe, also to Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, the drummer from Motley Crue,
Oh, okay.
at one stage in real life. Or she was dating him at least, anyway. And probably got sick of being beaten by him. What's your favorite scene in the movie?
There's so many little bits and bobs that I really love. It's tricky. I mean, the lion tuna sequence is fucking hilarious. I gotta pick something with Captain Gene, which is of course Michael Keaton, who's my favorite character in the film.
Yeah, he's so
Um,
yeah.
like even just it's probably a bizarre scene, but even his Bed Bath and Beyond when they go
Yeah,
to see him about the case, he just has a completely different
please.
demeanor. Like he's just so
Yeah,
nice to
here,
them all of a
Robert
sudden.
G.
Oh, guys, you here to buy a new bath towel or something like that? When
Yeah,
before
yeah,
he was giving them shit the previous time he was talking to them, you gotta walk a beat downtown. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Or like, what about when he's giving the
Hmm.
briefing to the Bed Bath& and Beyond workers? He's like, "Now there's a rapist on 6th and 7th. It's been reports of a rapist. So go on the oh, sorry, this is for my other job. Ignore that. Well, don't ignore that if you live down there. Walk in pairs."
Yeah. And the running gag of I don't even know why he mentions this, but it's funny because he does. Where he like keeps talking about his son who wants to be a bisexual DJ.
Oh, like,
So
yeah, his son who's in college, like,
yeah,
experimenting with his sexuality or whatever.
so he says that to Terry and Alan initially when he's like, "I work two jobs, to pay for his son's education." But then when he meets like I think it's the Attorney General of the state or whatever, some high up lawyer, he's like, "How are you doing, Gene?" He's like, "Good. My son's bisexual." Like that's immediately what he says after. And the guy's like, "Right." It's just. I mean, I'm sure that was an improv. Like, there's definitely moments of improv where you think that he probably just said that, like, because it just seems so random otherwise. But it works. It's so funny.
Yeah. There's, I think before I go on mine, what's your favorite quote?
Favorite quote? Oh god, it's so endlessly quotable. I mean, I suppose in the terms of the context, I do like the aim for the bushes part, which is right at the beginning.
Yeah,
You thinking what I'm thinking,
that's
partner?
probably every like,
Aim for the
the
bushes.
what most people answer for their favorite, like, part,
Yeah.
and the thing that people quote the most.
Hmm.
When I was younger, that was my favorite quote, but, as I've gotten a bit older, I've decided that my favorite quote from the movie is, or, like, is scene is when they keep falling for the bribes.
Oh yes, yes.
What do you say to
Hmm.
this?
Gentlemen,
You
you have
gotta
a
get tickets
choice: Mamma Mia or Jersey
to Jersey
Boys.
Boys.
Hmm.
Sherry! Oh my god.
Hmm.
What did you think about Jersey Boys? Are you kidding? You totally undersold it. Greatest musical I've ever seen. I was like, but the last time they show up, though, the quote that I love the most is when they show up at the end of that sequence,
Mhm.
and he's like, "Would you enjoy some water?" And he's just like, because Will Ferrell's obsessed with the water, and that's probably you know what he's talking about? He's like,
Yeah.
"The cucumber accents the water in such a way." That became my
Oh.
favorite quote. I don't
Mhm.
know why, but yeah.
Or desk pop. That like I will go to my dad or to my brother, and I'll start that scene with like, "Yo, Jimmy, when's the last time you do desk pop?" Which is where you fire your gun in the office. Well, that's a joke. They don't, but
Yeah. They
so good. They were so convincing in their arguments. That's probably a good, or even just the funeral scene, or like the wake of Bryson and I can't remember the other one, but Sam Jackson and The Rock, where
oh,
they're just sort
they
of
have, like, the
fighting.
silent fight.
Yeah, I want to go, and they pause briefly because they see the widow's like, "I'm sorry for your loss." Okay, the coast is clear. Fight, fight, kick his ass.
Yeah, and
The
then Gene
captain's.
comes up and he's like, "What are you guys doing over?"
Oh goodness. It's like, oh yeah, it's like you mad at us hard, Gene. Don't call me Gene, it's Captain. And I think he calls him Captain Gene later. He's like, don't call me Captain
Yeah,
Gene.
at the
Sounds
bathroom,
creepy,
he's like
Captain Gene. Yeah. Oh,
yeah, no, so many quotes. I can probably remember every scene.
hmm.
"What'd you learn to drive like that?" "Grand Theft Auto." "When
Someone's
he's
been
been
playing
playing
Grand
Grand
Theft
Theft
Auto.
Auto."
Yeah, he was
"What's the
good.
deal with these guys shoes.
They took our shoes again, man.
What's with these guys in shoes? Gator needs his gat.
Hey, Douglas Housewife. Oh, she died. Attaboy.
Yeah. Jesus
It's
Christ, Bill, or what's the guy's name? Ted, the guy that keeps like talking about his fundraiser. Nobody cares about your wife's fundraiser. She's probably sleeping with like whatever. He gets mad at him.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean, it's a lot like Hot Fuzz, where there's like little bits of what's to come as well in the mystery too.
foreshadowing
Like
and stuff.
where he's literally the accountant in the police department is talking about this big fundraiser or investment. I can't remember why the police are involved in it, but that turns out he's talking about like David Ershon.
Taking it out of the
Yeah.
police retirement fund.
But if they listen to
pay
him,
back his debt.
yeah. The whole Dirty Mike and the Boys thing was pretty funny too.
In the extended cut, they actually do it again in his car, or they try it again in his car, or something
Yeah.
like that.
The I think Dirty Mike is played by the director. I think it's his cameo, which is funny.
We'll have sex in your car again.
When you mentioned the Jersey Boys kind of review that Will Ferrell's character gives, it kind of reminded me of a point where I feel like a lot of this film has weird product placement in it that they kind of turn into a gag, and I can't tell if that's the case or not.
Not just a joke. I feel like that's the best way to do it in comedy movies, similar to Wayne's World 2.
Yeah.
When they just have that whole section of product placement, and they're just making jokes about product placement. You know what I mean? Like when Gar is suddenly dressed in Reebok, and he's like, "People just do things for money." I just think that's really sad. He's just like suddenly decked out in Reebok.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like, I mean, obviously, there's the whole theater production thing where it sounds like they're plugging the show in their film. On the whole, this is definitely a big recommend from me. A lot of fun.
I think it's a must watch, actually, to be honest,
Yeah.
if you're into comedies.
Oh, for
Unless
sure.
you're one of those people that really, 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 really hates like Will Ferrell or something, or like you have something against one of the actors, I guess, and you're just not going to watch it anyway.
Yeah, no, I like it's pretty good. I think everyone's quite entertaining. I mean, we didn't really mention Eva Mendes or Steve Coogan, but they have pretty decent roles and they're quite funny. Steve is David Ershon, the guy trying to rob the police of their money. Eva is, of course, Alan's wife. And she's now married
Kerry
to.
loves her. You're a beautiful woman. You're so lovely. Yeah, he's like just like in love with her. If anything happens to Alan, you come to me. Okay, thanks, Terry.
Yeah.
Bye, Terry. Bye, Sheila. Okay, see you, Terry.
I don't think he heard me.
Bye, Sheila.
Bye, Terry. And he's like, never mind.
Bye, Sheila. Or the guy that wants Alan to cuck him with his wife.
Oh my, yeah, that's up there.
Sex with my wife, and then chasing him up the street. She did things with you she'll never do with me.
You're a lucky dog. It's so bizarre. I mean, it's kind of there, I guess, to kind of build that running gag of lovely ladies. Yeah. And when they're listening to the voice message, it's like at night. He goes,
and they're like still chasing him up the street.
You drove 20 miles. At this point, we're just kind of quoting it.
There's nothing left to say.
Yeah,
it's just good. Just go and watch it. I think our podcast is literally us just quoting it and laughing at the quotes. I don't know if anybody's going to want to watch that at this point. At that point, you should just go and watch the movie so there's real context to the quotes, I guess. But all right, should we? Do
you want to do a quick question before we head? I think it might be your turn. Sure. I don't know.
I don't know. I think I always do it. So you do it this time.
What is everyone's favorite buddy comedy film? So where there's like a pairing of two people, and it's kind of a comedy. I think that would be good. Because this one, Other Guys, is probably a contender, but I guess people might want to say Monsters Inc. or whatever.
Oh yeah, I love Monsters Inc. Do you know they're actually making a TV series or like a series about Monsters Inc. on Disney Plus?
Is it going to follow? Is it going to be It's a sequel. Okay, because I thought it could be interesting if it was just new characters in that world
There
and
are
just
new
their
characters.
day-to-day operations.
It is. That's what it is.
Ah, there you go.
I'm actually disappointed that I canceled my Disney Plus subscription after I found out about that. I was like, God damn it. Thank you all for listening to
Thanks for
our
listening to our reenactment of the other guys.
reenactment, our dramatic reading, but it's completely out of order.
Yeah, boy.
If you edit this to where all our quotes are in order, you'll be able to listen to the full audio of the movie.
Well, to quote Steve Coogan's character, sometimes the best way to tell a story is to start at the end, work your way to the beginning, and periodically return to the end. So we've kind of done that a bit.
I think we do that pretty much every time that we talk about anything.
That's true. That's what makes the best podcast. And so does one that's under an hour, so I don't have to edit too much. So, with that, I say goodbye, everybody.
Ta-ta.